Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to the library tour of Doom. This is a tour through my library, book by book, era by era, whether I own it or not, whether I ever have owned it or not. I've got Frida Bean in the background there. As you can see, she is alive. She's just basking in the sun, that's all. And today's book is... Oh, how did this get here? Oh, this is the new Norton Critical King James Bible, New Testament, and Apocrypha. It's a very lovely trade paperback. As you can see, it's nice and floppy. It's full of, you got the original text at the beginning and then tons and tons of ancillary material in the rear. And on the back, you have excellent blurbs from Jack Miles and Robert Alter and, oh, me. Huh. I can't imagine how this got here. Well, let's just put that aside. That's not our book for today. That was just a mistake of some kind. Instead, we're doing, our book for today is by Cal Newport, and it's called Digital Minimalism. And this is something of a foundational text for digital detox, for the intellectual minimalism movements that took strength right after this book came out. This is something of a foundational text. There are a couple of others, and then there's this one, in which the author says that, the author rather proudly says that he doesn't have a digital imprint, that he doesn't have social media, and that he does just fine without it. And so can you. And that the book puts forward all sorts of strategies for getting control of your email. This is along the same lines as another practitioner of this kind of thinking who advocated the zero inbox method. It's sort of echoed in this book as well, where at the end of every day, your inbox of your email should be zero. There should be nothing in there. Nothing that you left over till the next day. I actually practice zero inbox as much as I possibly can. I get a lot of emails in a day. I am actually the perfect target for this book and all other books like this, because I get bombarded in the digital world, especially email. I get hundreds of emails a day. So I try real hard to clear that out by the end of every day. I don't succeed, as you all know, because plenty of you get emails from me after a few days that start with "sorry for the delay in responding." I type that just without thinking. In fact, I type it so often, I fail so often at zero inbox that I will often start an email that I'm responding to right away with "sorry for the delay in responding," because it's just a reflex. I mean, people say to me, "What do you mean, sorry for the delay in responding? I just emailed you a second ago." But Newport isn't just dealing with email. He's dealing with the whole world of digital involvement, and makes the case, he was one of the first ones to make it really comprehensively and systematically about how bad that world is for you. Even physically, how bad it is for your circadian rhythms, how bad it is for your appetite, how bad it is for your sleep, and how bad it is, as all of you can, I'm sure, attest, for your attention span, for your strength of attention. How bad it is for all of that. And what he wants to do, I'm trying to include the book and the bean, what he wants to do is propose possible steps, avenues, strategies to decrease that, to practice digital minimalism, to get your digital imprint down low so that you can increase your analog imprint where it matters. That's what he says, that it matters. I like this book quite a bit. It's very energetically written and very clear. He obviously thought about it exhaustively before he wrote out what effectively is his manifesto. And certainly along these lines, it's a lot more palatable than a lot of the other manifestos along these lines. Jaron Lanier's comes to mind, 10 Reasons for Deleting Your Social Media Right Now. But there are plenty of others that don't seem to me to have the strength of their convictions, don't seem to me to mean it. They're just jumping on our fad of digital decluttering, digital detox. Whereas Cal Newport strikes me as really meaning what he's saying. I can recommend the book. It has lots of ideas. It will make you think about the extent and maybe the excess of your own digital activity. I just don't agree with all of it. I think that it, like a lot of tracks along these lines in the 21st century, is based on, sure, lots of digital common sense, yes, but also on a presupposition that you can't control yourself. That the one thing that's off the... Baby, what you doing? What you doing? That the one thing that's off the table is that you control yourself. too many of these books just seem to start with that. They don't seem to have any hope. It seems like to these authors, the idea that someone might say, well, first, why don't you tell people to control themselves so they don't have to eliminate anything from their lives? Why don't you tell them to control themselves? It seems to me that a lot of these authors would say, oh, come on, get real. I'm offering all sorts of advice. I'm offering my best. Go on. There you go. I'm offering my best advice, but asking people to control themselves, that's a little bit unrealistic, don't you think? That always bugs me. That really bugs me. So that the underlying assumption here in this book, I think, in large part, is that, and I disagree with that. Of course I do. But otherwise, it's a strong recommend. Unlike a lot of its brethren, it's a strong recommend. It will make you think about subjects that you really should think about. I'm not saying that Cal Newport is Chicken Little. I'm not saying he's imagining it's something. This force exists in all of our lives. It's much stronger than we tend to give it credit, and much more dangerous, much more deleterious. So it's worth thinking about. It's worth even hammering out new habits. I'm just not sure that minimalism is the way to go, one way or another. It's your Library Tour of Doom book for today. Now that we've cleared up the misunderstanding. There was a little misunderstanding of the fact that I am blurbed on the effing Bible. Now that we've cleared that up, I don't know how that happened. I can recommend digital minimalism, and we'll move on in the Library Tour of Doom tomorrow. When I don't think you're gonna get any better Frida footage than you did today, but you never know. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, Book 2.